Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 28 of our Pray and Go 30-day challenge. Today is invite three people again. You have already invited people to church during this 30-day challenge. It's time to do it again. The day 28 challenge is to invite three people from your community to church. Inviting three people personally in one day might be difficult, so it's okay to email them if you can't invite them in person, but you need a plan. Actually, the plan is simple. We call it the Thank and Invite plan. Identify three people in your community to invite to church. I am doing the same exercise today as I write this chapter. As I've mentioned, I live in Franklin, Tennessee, which is on the southern end of the greater Nashville area. I have lived here for almost 20 years, and I love my hometown more than with each passing year. God has opened many doors for me to share the gospel in Franklin. Like any place, responses have been mixed, but no one has been antagonistic towards me. What I'm suggesting is that you invite a government leader, a business leader, and a local merchant to your church. Here are some ideas for how to proceed. Inviting a local government leader. I know the names of some of our civic leaders in Franklin, but I admit that I don't know them well. So I started my search on the city's website, franklin.gov, which I found with a simple online search. Franklin is governed by a mayor and 8 aldermen. So I decided to write to the one who represents the ward where my home is located. Here's the template for my email. Dear Alderman blank, thank you for your work as an alderman in Franklin. I appreciate the hours you give to our town. I know it is a big commitment of time and a labor of love on your part. I want you to know I prayed for you specifically today. If you ever get a chance to visit my church, name the church. I would love to meet you and your family in person. Thank you again for all that you do for your community. I do not take you or your work for granted. It took me about 5 minutes to look up my alderman's name and send him the email. By the way, people in positions of leadership typically hear from the critics and the naysayers. Your positive email will stand out as a source of encouragement. Franklin, Tennessee is a rapidly growing area. As the population increases, new businesses are popping up all the time. A local developer has been at the center of this growth for the past 20 years. They have worked well with the leaders of Franklin to maintain a balance between preserving the city's history and moving towards the future. It seemed like a good organization, so I decided to write to the company's CEO and invite her to my church. Dear Miss Blank, thank you for the many contributions blank, blank, blank has made to Franklin. I have watched you and your company show respect for our town while moving us forward. You have placed the good of the community before your own profits. It has not gone unnoticed. I want you to know I prayed for you specifically today. If you ever get a chance to visit my church, name the church, I would love to meet you and your family in person. Thank you again for all that you do for our community. I do not take you and your work for granted. Again, it was easy to find her contact information on the company's website. It took me about 5 minutes to look her up and send the email. As I've mentioned, when Natalie, Joe, and I moved to Franklin, we had to arrange for private garbage service. I asked our realtor and 2 neighbors for referrals, and they all enthusiastically recommended the same company. Our realtor said that almost every home they sold ended up going with this company. She also told us that the company was a mom and pop organization. Indeed, as I got to know the owners, they told me they were the 3rd generation to own the company, which had been founded by the husband's grandfather. Writing to them was easy for me because I've spoken to the owner several times over the years. Because the wife is the one who runs the office, I sent the email to her. Dear Blank, I just wanted to thank you again for the great service you and Blank provide through name the company. I have lived in a number of places and I have never had such a good waste disposal service. It is obvious that you care for your customers and that you love the city of Franklin. I want you to know I prayed for you specifically today. If you and Blank ever get a chance to visit my church, name the church, I would love to meet you and your family. Thank you again for all that you do in our community. I do not take your work for granted. This company does not have a website, but I got their contact information from their social media page. The entire process took less than 10 minutes. That's it. In less than half an hour, I was able to get the information I needed on 3 company leaders in my hometown, express my appreciation to them, and in an email, invite them to church. It was so simple, but it could make an eternal difference. By the way, all 3 recipients responded. They were all thankful and that I had taken the time to contact them. Their gratitude seemed sincere. 2 of them said they might visit my church in the future. The third recipient is active in another church but appreciated my invitation. That's it. That's time. Now it's time for you to send your emails to 3 people. Encourage them, express your appreciation for them, and invite them to church. When you finish your day 28 challenge, you will have invited 8 people to church during the 30-day challenge. If only 19 other church members joined in the challenge, that would be 160 people invited to church. As we get ready to finish the 30-day challenge, look back at how far you've come. Think about how your attitude has changed. Anticipate that God will do great work through your acts of obedience as a Great Commission Christian. Um, I do have to admit that I kind of looked at the title and it said invite 3 people again, and I hadn't read the whole thing yet. So I invited 3 people, but they were not a merchant, or a government leader or a business leader. So I have to rethink that whole thing again. But we're on day 28, so there's only a few more challenges. So I would like to hear if anybody's watched these videos about some of the things that you did, and who you prayed for and how that went and how you felt about it. Or even just some, maybe challenges that you might have come up with or seen as you've done it. But it is day 28 and we have a few more days together. So I appreciate you and God bless.